So we're gonna go ahead and start with our feet flat on the floor. And say we're going to work on that upper body, right? So shoulders and neck, and we'll go all the way down to the arms and wrists and hands too. We will be doing stuff with lower body too. We'll probably do some stuff standing as well, but primarily that'll be the focus. So we'll start with our hands like on these lower ribs, and just close your eyes, and we're just going to feel the breath here. So a lot of times we breathe up into the chest, right? So if you feel like you're more of a chest breather, I want you to put one hand on your chest and one hand and pick a side, whatever side you want, of the lower ribs. And we're just going to feel the breath coming in and out of the nose. So if you feel like there's a lot happening in the chest, like there's a lot of lift and even the shoulders are coming up, then we're using a lot of these muscles up here in the shoulder neck area to breathe. What we'll really want to do is be using that diaphragm, which is attached around those ribs. So if you feel on your rib cage that the breath is coming down there, like feel the breath coming out to your hand, and not as much happening in the chest, then go ahead and place your hand on the other side. But if you're still feeling the breath at the chest, I want you to really focus on just relaxing these muscles up here and drawing the breath down. So just imagine that there's like this imaginary like suction down here. So we're going to breathe in. I want you to feel the breath coming in through the nose and being pulled down into this area. And then there's a pushing up, right? So the diaphragm pushes up and the breath will come out through the nose. So there's a pulling down as the diaphragm moves down. It's like drawing that breath down, and then there's a pushing up. So just get that imaginary like feeling of pulling and pushing. And you can attach any imagery that you want to help you to get that. And then once you have that breath going in all around these lower ribs, we're going to count the breath. So we want to do about a 4 count inhale and a 5 or 6 count exhale. So we want the exhale to be a bit longer than the inhale. And try not to over breathe, right? I don't want you to feel like you're straining to get that breath in. Just let it be very relaxed and easeful. And then we're going to stay with this for about 3 to 4 more rounds of breath. Okay, and then fully exhaling that breath out. And then we're going to join our palms together and thumb knuckles at the heart space, starting our today's practice with an intention. So something you would like to receive, something you would like to let go of, staying present, whatever it is for you, setting that now. And then we are going to let it go. So you're going to extend your arms up and away, just releasing it out into the universe, and let your arms float all the way down. Okay, so we'll go back to thinking about our breathing muscle, which is our diaphragm, and the diaphragmatic breath is what we were experiencing here. And then what we want to try not to do is breathe into the chest, because what happens when we're breathing into the chest, we're doing like this. So our shoulders and all the muscles in our neck, they start to get a little bit more stressed and they can create tension. So if you have a lot of tension, either in this upper back and neck area, or even up around the chest, collarbones, then probably like doing some more diaphragmatic breath here will help with that. But also you probably would feel a lot more relaxed, because this is a stress breath And this is our relaxed breath. So we want to keep our breath here and not up here. But let's go ahead and just work through some of these muscles that can get tight, even if we're not breathing up here, but we still get tight from our day-to-day stuff that we do. So let's go ahead and just begin with the neck, and we're gonna go chin to chest, chin to ceiling. We'll do that 2 more times and just moving the neck and just experiencing any place where you feel tight. And then we're gonna look right to left. Try to sit up tall when you do this, so we're not rounding anywhere. And then we'll go ear to shoulder. So you're just gonna tilt your head right to left a couple of times. And we're just noticing, right? What feels tight, what feels tense. And then come back to center, let your arms relax. So we're gonna do shoulder shrugs. And when we're doing these shoulder shrugs, we're trying to draw the shoulders up towards the ear. And this is gonna be those upper traps that are literally moving them up and down. So go ahead and draw them up, hold them up there, see what that feels like. And then on your exhale, just go ahead and drop them down, just like that. So inhale up, nice and slow. And then exhale, drop. 3 more. And this feels good. It really helps you feel like you're really dropping the shoulders, releasing that tension. And 1 more up. And drop it down. And then we can also have tension that can literally radiate down our arm. It could show up in our wrist, it could show up in your thumb, in your fingers. And a lot of this stuff is like trapped stuff that gets stuck in our forearm. So we're gonna do a little massage here on our forearm. And here's what, like, the ball comes in handy if you have it, but if you don't, you're just gonna use your fingers and just fingers and thumb, just kind of push in and massage basically from your elbow crease down to your wrist. And I want you to get both sides of your forearm. And if you happen to have a ball, you could use that as well. And I'm just gonna show it here with a block as well. So I'm just gonna be placing my forearm here so it has a place to rest. And I'm just gonna take the ball and just gently roll it around my forearm. And I want you to just be really curious, like if you have any tension or pain that's showing up there. And if you do have any wrist like pain or thumb or even fingers or grip strength even, that will affect it. And then make sure you do it both sides. And then if you do happen to have the ball, you can then place it in the palm of your hand. And we're just gonna be doing some squeezes here. You're gonna squeeze and relax, and we're gonna do rotations of the arm. So you wanna just hold your elbow in place, and we're gonna rotate like this. I'm gonna show what you're gonna do without the ball and block. So if you don't have either of those props, you're literally gonna have it resting on your thigh, still holding that elbow, and you're gonna make a fist. And we'll do the same things where you're doing this pronation, supination of the arm. So this is gonna be like from the elbow down to the hand. So the upper arm is staying really still, and I'm just immobilizing it with my other hand so that that doesn't move. And then if you have the ball and you're squeezing it, go ahead and release it and you can set it down. And now we're just gonna open up the hand so it's really wide. And then I want you to close it and make a fist. We'll do that 2 more times. Really open, spread the fingers, and then close it, make a fist. 1 more. Okay, and then all we're gonna do is shake it out. And then we'll do the other side. I'll show it again, both ways. I'll start with the block, and you're just gonna have your forearm resting on it, and then you can just take that ball and just gently massaging. Or if you don't have the block, you're just gonna be using your hands, resting with the forearm resting on your thigh. You're just gonna use your thumb, can really dig in. So the thumb is really good to kind of push. This actually feels more intense to me than using the ball. If I'm being honest, like I'd probably like go with just the thumb massaging around, and you can push in. And especially if you find a spot that feels like tight or even painful, then I invite you just to kind of stay in that and just keep massaging it, because it could just be a muscle that's locked up and could have a trigger point in there. And you would notice too, like if you know you have something going on in the hand or wrist, that this might be the culprit. Make sure you do both sides, really exploring around with either the ball or your thumb. And we always have a tendency like to not pay really a lot of attention to this area of our body. So I find it to be very interesting. Like when I bring this into a class, people are just amazed at what they can find in this forearm area. Actually, I was having some wrist issues that this kind of highlighted it for me too. I was like, whoa, I did not realize it. So you're going to make that fist, and then we're just going to hold that elbow in place, and we're going to do pronation supination, which means you're rolling that wrist to face to the ceiling, and you're going to roll the wrist to face to the floor. Now, if you've had like issues like carpal tunnel, you probably have done some of these exercises before. They probably do a lot of the stuff in PT. And then if you're gripping the ball, keep gripping it. If you're not have a ball, you're just holding that fist. And then we're going to end with the palm facing to the ceiling, and you can set the ball down. We're going to just open up the hand, and I want you to really spread those fingers out. And then you're going to make a fist. Go slow with this one. Really like feel like it's a flower blossoming open, and then closing up. Squeeze and open and squeeze, and then open, and then we're gonna shake it all out. All right, just take a moment, rest your hands on your thighs, just close your eyes and just feel. So maybe you might notice it all over the shoulder, because a lot of times we hold tension here, it reflects up here. Okay, so we're gonna move the arms a little bit. So we're gonna start with just reaching the arms forward, and I want you to stretch and reach so you can, this will be like something you're gonna feel in your back, like your mid-back area. So almost like your shoulder blades are just pulling away from the spine, because they are. And hold that. And then we're going to bend the elbows and turn your palms to face out. And all we're going to do is we're just going to go, it's kind of weird. You're just going to fold your fingers in like this, if you can see them. And we're going to place them just beside the temples. And we're going to have the elbows lifted. And then from here, you're just going to keep your knuckles pressed into your temples, and we're going to draw the elbows apart and together. And I want you to try the best that you can to get the elbows to touch. Now, if they don't touch, don't worry about it. Go wide and then try to go together as much as possible. They may or may not touch, but you working on it is a good thing. Okay, so just breathing in and breathing out, sitting up tall, make sure your posture is good. And we're really working like a lot of stuff here. Front of the shoulders, back of the shoulders, mid-back, chest. So getting all these upper body muscles working. You want to do about 10 to 15 of these guys. And this one you can do sitting or even standing. Good, let's keep going, a couple more. It gets very tiring, but try to go as much as you can. If you need to take a break, but then jump back in. Try to get at least 10 and 15 if you can. Okay, all right, let's finish up here. And you probably feel pretty tired. Let's shake out the arms. Deep breath in and out. We're going to do a similar thing with one side at a time, and we're going to add a side bend to it. So let's start with one hand, still place those knuckles here, and we're going to go side bend, and now you're going to bring the elbow in, and I want you to just allow all of that to stretch here, and then you're going to open, and then we're going to sit up. We're going to do this 4 more times. So you're going to go over, elbow folds in and out, and sitting back up. So we're now getting some of the muscles on the side seam of the body. This will be our last one on the side. And release. Other side. So folding those knuckles in, place them right on the side of the head. Side bend first, so your elbow is pointing to the ceiling, and then folding it in, opening up, sitting back up. And you can add breath to this, whatever feels good for you. There's no specific breathing pattern, just make sure you're breathing. Not holding your breath, keeping it flowing. And last one of these. Beautiful, sitting up tall. All right, so the next thing we're gonna work on is we're gonna mobilize the rib cage, and we're gonna be using our side abs here to help us to do that. So this will be like twisting or rotation, and we're gonna put our fingers now on top of the shoulders, and the elbows will stay wide for this. And you wanna try to keep your hips from moving. So one thing I will suggest, if you have a tendency to rotate the pelvis too, you could kind of lock it in place, put your pillow, put your block or whatever you have, squeeze it. You can use anything to squeeze. A blanket, pillow, towel, doesn't matter. Just stick it there between your legs and give it a little hug. You don't have to death grip it, you know, maybe a 2 out of 10 just to hold it in place so it doesn't fall on the floor. And then we'll do the fingers on top of the shoulders, elbows wide. So we're going to take a breath in, and then you're going to exhale. We're going to turn. Okay, so keep your chin in line with your sternum. Don't turn your head, just keep it neutral. And then come back to center. We're going to stay to go on the same side again. So we're going to do 4 on the side. Keep squeezing the block so your pelvis doesn't shift. Come back to center, and then we'll go the other direction. Turning, coming back to center. And no need to rush, right? Because we're just experiencing movement. There's no race to get to the end, okay? All right, relax. Take a deep breath in and out of your nose. And then if you do have your yoga block handy, we're going to use that. If you don't, you're just going to use air, but I want you to provide resistance, because the block is just, that's all it's going to be doing, is providing resistance. So that means I want you to have your hands active. So no, limp, weak fingers. I want you to really strengthen the hand and the fingers. So if you have the yoga block, you are going to place your hands on it. So you're not gripping it. We're just literally holding with a flat hand like this, palm and palm pressing in. So we're going to start with those elbows bent, and we're going to stretch forward. I want you to hold that block, relax the shoulders, relax the jaws. This is what we don't want to do. We don't want to create tension where there's no tension needed. The only tension you're going to feel is going to be in the arms, hands, and fingers. Okay, so we're going to squeeze it, and probably about 3 or 4 out of 10. Nothing like death gripping, right? So we don't want to create tension. We just want to find, where can we relax while we're holding this position? So we always have a tendency to have our helper muscles involved, and those would be your upper traps. So I want you to try to relax the shoulders, keep holding and breathing. And if you don't have a block, just you have imaginary blocks. You're still creating tension between the hands. Let's take one more breath. And then we're going to bend the elbows 90 degrees, keep holding the block, and then we're going to lift the elbows up and lower the elbows down all the way so that they touch the ribs. So elbows up as high as you can get them without letting the shoulders rise up, right? We're going to keep them down. Do 3 more of these. So a lot of this work is just paying attention to when we hold tension and try not to let that happen. Okay, and then last one, up, and then back down. Okay, go ahead and set that on the floor. Good, sit up tall, feel your posture. Breathe in and out of your nose. Okay, now we're gonna scoot forward and we're gonna separate the feet. So you wanna have your feet wide, toes are gonna be on a turnout. And we're gonna just take our elbow and forearm and just rest it and have the palm to face up to the ceiling. So we're just gonna be doing a side bend first. So we can either do fingers on shoulder or arm extended, right? So you're gonna take what you need here. Look down at the palm of your hand as you reach over. Hold that, stay anchored to the floor, stay anchored to your chair, breathe. And then we're going to go ahead and take the arm down, and I want you to reach forward. So we're stretching from the back of the shoulder all the way down to the waist. And then we're going to bring that back up again, so you can have that fingers on the shoulder as you return. And then we're going to use the exhalation, so you're engaging your abdominals as you come all the way back up. Both arms can reach up. And then bending and replacing that other side. So you're going to reach over. So these are your options here or here. And if you're doing that rotation, which we're going to do next, you can keep the elbow and just turn and still get the same stretch. Arm can also be extended. Let's breathe. And I want you to feel the breath coming into those ribs, especially on the side with the arm reaching. And then we're gonna rotate. And then use your exhale to come all the way up. Take both arms up and then bend your elbows like a cactus arm. And then we're just gonna go up and down with those arms. Breathing in, breathing out. And just feeling those shoulder blades gliding on your back. Okay, last one, reaching up. And then arms coming down. Go ahead and heel toe your feet together. We're gonna go ahead and stand up. Let's cross your arms, take a breath, hinge forward, press down into your feet and slowly rise up. Just gonna make the adjustment with the camera here. All right, so we'll be using our chair. So if you can, go ahead and clear all your props away so you're not gonna trip over anything. And we're gonna stand behind it. So you have space and then you have your chair at one end. Okay, so we're gonna stand about arms width away from your chair and your feet will be about hip width apart. All right, so fingers are gonna be gently pressing down into the chair, the back of the chair. And then we're gonna reach up and we're gonna take a side bend over. So as we're coming into the side bend, just allow your ear to move towards the shoulder, let your shoulder relax. And then I want you to bend your knees and soften them a little bit and see if you can get deeper into this bend and keep letting your neck relax. And then let your arm drop. Shake it out, let that relax too. And then turn your chin back to center, bend both of your knees. And then we're just gonna go into a little position where we're just gonna hang here. Let your arms relax, you can shake them out. You don't have to come all the way down to the floor, just holding this position. And bend your knees and let's roll all the way back up to stand. Okay, and then let your shoulders drop down. Let your chin be parallel to the floor. Let's rotate those arms all the way forward, all the way back. Noticing where you feel tension. Is it one side or the other? Is there any discomfort in the front or the back? All right, and then have your palms so they're facing towards your thighs. And notice if that feels awkward. And then let your arms turn slightly forward, right? So slightly forward is going to give you more space in the front, especially if you have a tendency to be more rotated. If your tendency is to be more rotated, just having them neutral might be enough. But if you can let them rotate slightly forward, you'll notice a big difference. And we're just really working on these front of the chest, like shoulder and chest area, which can be tight. All right, we're gonna do that stretch on the other side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn around so you'll see it from behind. So the fingers are gonna be resting on the chair. Try not to push or anything, just let them relax there. And then you can take a breath and then you're gonna take the side bend. And again, you can always have your fingers on shoulder. And then once you're in the side bend, try to relax where you feel tension. You can also soften the knees a little bit. And if you soften the knees, let the ear move to the shoulder, can you deepen this side bend? And then let your arm release, so it's just draping and hanging. And then chin's gonna go to your chest. The other arm's gonna come in front, and we're just gonna go like a rag doll, like you're just hanging over your legs. Upper back and shoulders relaxed. And then keep bending your knees. Allow yourself to roll up very slowly and returning to stand. And once you come back to standing, I want you to stand normally, rotate those arms again, forward and back. Good, and then just find a place for them where they feel good, right? Try to get them as neutral as possible if you can. Take a deep breath in and out of your nose and feel the breath here, right? This is our goal, is to get the breath in this area and not up here. Right, turn to face to your chair. Place both of your hands on it. We're gonna take a walk back, 2 or 3 steps back. Arms are gonna be extended. Knees will be bent. Tailbone is reaching back. And your head is positioned between your upper arms, and just let your fingers relax over the chair. And I want you to breathe down the side body, the front body, and the back body. So can you feel your breath all around the ribs, 360 degrees, all the way around, front, sides, and back. And we're just filling up that container. And places where you get stuck is where you're going to feel tension and discomfort. And those are the important places you should be focusing on in the breath. Last one. And then slowly walking your feet forward. And then coming back to stand. So if you felt restriction around the side or back on one side or both sides, then you should be focusing on a lot of breathing here, right? So maybe doing that stretch. There are different ones you could do. You can do it in your bed. You can literally do like child's pose in your bed where your arms are extended. If this one didn't feel good, this one's really nice to do on your kitchen counter. So putting your hands on the kitchen counter and just kind of walking back so your arms are a little more elevated, and just getting yourself in this position and just breathing will make a huge difference. It's harder to do it sitting because we don't have this ability to really get this full breath in and out. But child's pose or downward facing dog, or this variation of downward facing dog, works really well. All right, let's come back to sitting. If you do have a pillow, you're going to grab that now. And we're going to do a seated back bend. So you'll be placing the pillow right there. And then you're going to stand in front of your chair and you're going to gently have a seat. And then you can take the pillow and just adjust it up a little higher to get it in position. And when we're doing a back bend, we're going to be expanding all of this, and we're just going to be filling up with breath. So you will feel the breath in the chest, but still down here too. So it's not going to be stuck up here. It's going to be flowing all the way up and all the way out like this. So it's not just going to be in and out here. It's going to be in and out like this. All right, arms are going to relax. You can rotate your palms open. You can lean back into it any amount. If you want to hold on to the chair, you're welcome to do that, whatever feels appropriate for you. And I invite you to close your eyes, and we're just going to imagine, right, this big breath is moving in, being pulled down, and then pushed back out again. We're going to take 5 of these diaphragmatic breaths, 4 count, inhale, 6 count, exhale. And just do the best that you can. And don't over breathe. Let it be relaxing. So you want to soften the face and jaw, relax the hands and fingers, soften those shoulders. And just let the diaphragm do its job. All right, one more breath here. And then just take your time. I want you to come out slowly so you don't get dizzy coming back up. You can move the pillow off to the side. All right, so we're going to take a walk over, turning to the side. So you're going to have your knees facing to one side. And we're going to be sitting sideways on our chair. All right, both arms are going to come out in front. And then we're going to bend the elbows, and we're going to turn the upper body to face to the back of the chair. And then you're just going to place your hands next to each other on the back of the chair. Once you have your hands in place, we're going to gently push down into the chair. I want you to feel the sensation of growing taller, meaning from your tailbone to the top of your head. And you want to have that neutral gaze. And then we're going to breathe in through the nose. And on your exhale, we're going to turn a little bit using your abdominals, like so those side abdominals, your rib cage, your chest, your shoulders. And then you're going to turn your neck and your head. And then last thing you'll turn will be your eye gaze. And we're just using those arms, gently pushing down into the chair, just to remind us that we're growing taller. We're not slouching or letting the head drop. And when we're in this position, we're able to get that breath into those ribs a little bit better. So that's what we're going to focus on, is breathing wide into your rib cage. Let's take a breath in and a breath out. 2 more, in and out, and 1 more. Okay, and then you're going to come out just like this. You're going to do your eyes, then your head, neck, chest, ribs. So you're back to facing sideways again. Walk yourself to the center. We're going to do a forward fold from here. So scoot close to the very edge of your seat. And you can take your legs up just a little bit. You don't have to have them straight, just a little bit. And then we're going to hinge forward. And you can either stop and just rest your forearms on your thighs and be right here. Or you can walk your hands closer to the floor, down your shins towards your ankles, and stay heavy in the chair. And you can also, if it feels good for you to do so, you can let your head drop. And try not to grip or hold or effort too much in the arms, hands, and fingers. Just breathe. And you might feel some compression in your belly. And this is going to help you to strengthen your diaphragm. So it's harder to breathe with your belly resting on your thighs. But this is your opportunity to get stronger there. So let's take some breaths in. Feel the resistance, and then let the breath go. 1 more. And then you'll take your time wherever you are, slow, coming up. So allowing your blood pressure to regulate as we slowly rise up, allowing your head to come up very last. Take a full breath once you get there, and then we're gonna take that walk over to the other side. Okay, same thing, we're gonna be sitting up tall, arms are gonna come in front, elbows will bend, then we're gonna turn, and you're gonna place your hands next to each other on the back of the chair. You probably want to have your hands about 6 or 7 inches apart. And then you're going to gently press down into the chair, which is going to help you to lengthen your spine upwards. Take a breath in, use your exhalation. We're turning from the waist, the ribs, the chest and shoulders, the neck, the head, and then last will be the eyes. Okay, we're going to hold and breathe in through the nose, into the ribs, feeling widening, and then exhaling. And again. 2 more. And then 1 more. And then as you exhale, we're going to bring the eyes, head, neck, shoulders, arms, ribs back to center here. And then gently walking yourself all the way back to the middle. All right, arms are relaxed down by your side. Rotate your palms out. Let's inhale, breathe, and take those arms up overhead, extended mountain pose. And then notice where your shoulders are. If you still feel like you have shoulder earrings, I want you to just bend your elbows and just be like this, right? So the shoulders are not pulling up by the ears. So we're gonna go up, hold it here, turn, center, turn, center, arms out wide, rotate your palms to face the floor, relax the shoulders, and then we're going to do small circles backwards. 3 more. And small circles forward. Try to keep the shoulders down as we're moving the arms. Good, and let the arms continue all the way down here. Gotta take a breath. Noticing your breath, if it feels better or not, hopefully yes. 1 more full breath in. And exhale that breath out. Okay, the last thing we're gonna work on is jaw. Okay, so peace fingers, you're gonna find the angle of your jaw. Okay, so it's behind your earlobe. You're going gonna just gently press behind it, and we're just gonna do small little circles here. And while we're doing it, I want you to open and close your mouth. We're gonna do this for about 4 breaths, and you can circle both directions. Just gently open and close. And feel what you feel here. Is there tension? Is there pain? Lymph nodes live here too, so please make sure you do this often, especially if you have a tight jaw. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Peace fingers, angle of your jaw, find your earlobe right behind it, and start to press in here. Notice if one side feels different than the other. Okay, and then open and close. About 4 times. Feel what you feel here, just be curious. Okay, and then release it, go ahead and give that a shake out. And then we're gonna use our hands, starting at the angle of the jaw, and just slide your hands down. Let them land on your collarbones. So your collarbones, you should feel them. You can go fingers inside and at the bottom. So just kind of massaging all along the collarbones. There are so many little tendons and muscles in here that can get tight. So just take your fingers and start to search around for anything that feels tight. You're basically going to be giving yourself a massage. If you feel something, please stay in it and maybe just work through a knot. Take your fingers, you can move your head around, right? So chin to chest, you can feel maybe those upper traps are really tight and just digging in there. So we always have this like opportunity to give ourselves a massage. We always don't have to think about like, oh, I got to go to a massage therapist or this or that. You can literally do all this stuff yourself. Paying attention, number one, and preventative movements, right? Number two, and number three, giving yourself a massage, right? So just getting into any of those places that feel tight or tense. And you can even do the opposite side, like just take your whole hand and just grip and just pinch it here. Because this is like the upper trap is probably like one of the most number one culprits for tension and pain in the neck and upper back. So this guy is the helper muscle and it always wants to be involved, especially when you're stressed. You're like that, right? So think about how many times you do this, right? In the course of a day. So these guys are always on and working. Okay, try the other side. Just pinch it and squeeze it. Just feel around. If you find a trigger point, you will know it. It's going to be like, whoa, it's like a zinger, right? And then you can just take your finger and just push in, hold it, and breathe. So you're just going to push straight into that trigger point, hold it, take a few breaths. Then you're going to release it. And then we'll do it one more time. Just push in and hold. So if you find something, dig into it. Feel it. It is painful. There is no doubt about it. Don't be afraid of it. It's there for a reason. It's asking for help. Pain is usually a cry for help. So we're going to give our body the help that it needs. Okay. And if you found one, congratulations. And hopefully you released it. Okay. So let's go ahead and slide on back into our chair. Stretch out the legs. Let's circle those ankles around. Wiggle your toes. Shake out those legs. And then just let them relax to the floor. And then we'll do the arms. So really reach out, spread your fingers, make a fist, a tight fist. And then let's really get into those wrists here, circling them around. So you've learned today a lot about your body, hopefully where your tension, and you can keep working on this, right? Especially if you've got stuff going on, right? And you've found some interesting little things in those forearms, please keep going with that because that is going to be life-changing. Shake it out. And then we're going to place our hands on those lower rib cage, right? One on each side. Close your eyes. Let's take 4 breaths, diaphragmatic breaths. Feel the breath being pulled in and pushed back out again. Notice if your breath feels a little easeful, more easeful than it did at the beginning. Okay, and then just relaxing into your normal breath. And see if your breath feels a little better. And then just begin to soften and relax the face and the jaw, the neck, the upper back, the shoulders, arms, hands, and fingers. Relaxing all down your spine, all down the front body. Feel heavy in your seat, relaxing all the muscles in your pelvis. And then down your legs, front of the back legs, back of the legs, sides, down to your ankles and your feet. Give your toes a little wiggle. And then just softening the bottoms of your feet and the tops of your feet. Allow your breath to be easeful and smooth and quiet. Noticing if you feel more relaxed and at ease. Okay, so slowly start to bring awareness back into your body and just begin to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, start to spread the movement, wrists, ankles, arms, legs, perhaps into a stretch. Deepening the breath. And then go ahead and find yourself back into a comfortable seated position so that your, again, shoulders relax, eyes closed, and just feel what you feel. Notice if you feel different. And then we're going to bring that intention back in. So let's reach out, gather it up, draw it back into your heart space. So take a moment here to really acknowledge your practice today, your intention, and then thank yourself for being here. It's important to take care of ourselves. Taking this time out of your day is super important. And then we're going to bring our thumb knuckles up to the third eye point. The light in me honors the light in you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.